Okay, Christina here to listen to some music, and today's music selection is The Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd. So, this has been a bit of an experiment. This is a full listening to the entire album of Dark Side of the Moon, but it's one track at a time. So this is installment number 4, track number 4. I've done the previous 3, and where I'm recording them, I'm doing it like in pretty quick succession, like a day or two in between. And in between each of the recordings, I'm going back and listening even more and letting things sink in and just really becoming immersed in this album experience. So far, so good. And what's the whole point of this, you may ask? For those of you just getting to know me, I am a professional classically trained musician, instrumentalist, vocalist, composer, and professor. So we talk about all of the different aspects of the music that we can. I learn a little something. Hopefully you all learn a little something. It's a good time. This has just been a magical experience so far. In fact, look, I even have my Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon shirt on. Thank you again, Celeste, for that shirt. And I don't think we're even halfway through yet. So very exciting. So enough talking for now. We'll do some later. Let's listen. Okay, we're about ready, but I wanted to add one more thing. In the previous track, Time, that's track number 3, I did not comment or even completely register that there was a reprise of Breathe in the Air at the end. I was recognizing the music, but I was not connecting it with the previous track. And this is sort of what a complex album like this is going to do sometimes. I'm sure I'm not the only one that didn't completely realize that the first time through. But when I went back and listened to Time on my own, I was like, oh, well, that's what that is. It's just part of the fun. It's part of the experience. So what other surprises lie ahead here? Well, let's find out, shall we? We're going to start just a little bit into the end of track 3. So we're going to hear some of that Breathe in the Air at the end of Time. And then we'll go into The Great Gig in the Sky. Here we go.
The fire, far away across the field, the tolling of the iron bell calls the faithful to their knees. You hear the softly spoken magic spell.
Frightened of dying. Any time will do, I don't mind. Why should I be frightened of dying? There's no reason for it. You've got to go sometime.
Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. Who is she? Who is that singer? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. Wow. Well, I heard a little bit of that in the previous track and I was like, wow, I hope we get to hear more of that soloist. So here we are, right? So some of you might know that I love it when an instrument outside of the human body can act like a singing voice, or when a singing voice can act like an instrument outside of the body. Because that's kind of what I do, when I'm playing my instruments, especially my violin, because I'm also a singer, I sort of tend to picture both when I'm doing either of them. And it helps with musicality, it helps with the presentation of each instrument, the vocal and the instrumental instrument. So when I hear someone playing an instrument to the point where it sounds like they're singing, or singing as if they are playing an instrument, just outright, I just can't help myself. I'm very excited by this. So, okay. And I apologize for stopping in the middle. It's the right thing to do legally, but because we're here for the reactions, not to be listening all the way through. But I have to rewind some of this and hear it again right now. So that's what we're going to do. Oh yeah, and all the other music is really great too, but we'll get to that in a moment. Oh my goodness, this soloist. Okay, here we go. Back it up just a little bit. All right. Okay, a moment of calm. It was just lovely. Wow, it ended up in a major key section. Because there was a lot of tension or proclamation or just up to that point. She was almost screaming. Scream singing. There's sprechstimme where you sort of talk your way through singing, da 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 da, but she was like screaming, but still singing. It was awesome. So I'm digging the piano in this. That is a player in this play here that I have not met completely, not that straightforward, just like a really great like grand piano sound. It was so solid in the beginning, and I'll dig more into that because there's an ornamentation there that is just fantastic, and it did come back and I was very happy to hear it again. But I had to sort of stop and ground myself in this more positive moment. Okay. Are we ready? We're going to see this one out. Okay, finish it to the end. Here we go. Well, that was a cool little bend at the end. Very dreamy. The great gig in the sky. Is this like heaven? Is this supposed to be heaven? I still don't know yet. I'm going to take a peek at the lyrics before we go on. Oh yeah, so there was some spoken word. I am not frightened of dying. You gotta go sometime. Yeah, I heard that. Okay, and then later on, someone else says it was a woman's voice that I never said I was frightened of dying. Okay. Heaven. Gotta be about heaven. So is this a process? Were we hearing the process at the beginning of this? Of actually like the idea of someone's soul leaving their body and floating up into heaven? Reflecting on their lives? So another thing I really enjoy, for instance, with my own composing of music, is I love to try to translate a feeling or an emotion or an experience into music. And I think that's what this is. And I think they got it just right. I really did feel sort of this angst at the beginning, but it was also something that I knew that I wanted to experience. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here listening to this music. It's something that I pushed play, and I'm going to listen to this music. So I sort of know what I'm in for. I'm on that pathway. I'm not going to veer off. But then at the same time, it's uncomfortable. And then there was just a change. It just changed. And I felt peaceful. And then towards the end, when her voice started to even have resonance to it, just like floating away into the clouds. So it could be heaven. It could also be more metaphorically for an escape, a more earthly escape of your choosing. That experience. All right. Wow. This album just does not disappoint at any turn. Okay. Loved the piano in the opening. So simple, yet rich and beautiful. The chord structure was just really straightforward. Let's hear it again. Okay, and we'll get into that in just a moment. So, B minor chord, but then where does it go? And that's what I wanted to get into, because where it goes is a little bit surprising. And at first I was thinking, oh, there's a suspension? Nope. There's an appoggiatura? Nope. It's this little ornamentation that is more surprising. So we start out with just a basic open chord. And then we move to so we move up to F major, but we still hang on to that. It should be here, and we hear that B natural in there. It's weird, but then it does resolve. I think it goes something like that. So creative. Still keeping you on your toes. Okay. The slidiness. I love it so much. It's bringing tears to my eyes. And the piano getting stronger.
Anytime will do. I don't mind. Why should I be frightened of dying? There's no reason for it. You gotta go sometime.
Okay, what a great intro to a song. Whew, okay. And with the spoken words in there, and first time hearing this, you don't know what's going on. You don't know. But that's the fun of it. It's this little roller coaster ride. And in life, you don't know what's going on. You can expect things and predict things, but lots of things still take you by surprise, and I just feel like they're sort of telling you to just go with the flow, just be okay. So, then we get into this vocal solo. I just don't know what else to say about it. I mean, how can somebody develop the use of their voice to sound? I mean, to me, it could have been on a saxophone. It could have been on a guitar, a violin. Why not? Just every note she sang was both improvised and planned. That takes a lot of years of training to develop that palette. What color do you want to use to create where the line is going to go, and then make it sound like you're just coming up with it right then. Planned, but not planned. I did catch on to just a couple of the things she was doing, so I could tell when she was keeping her mouth a little bit more closed. I could tell when she was opening up wide. I could tell when it was more of a whisper tone. I could tell when it was more of that scream. The use of the vibrato, sometimes it was really, really tight, sometimes it was wider. And then a few of the motifs that she chose, a lot of it was a stepwise, like da-dum, ba-dum, and with that little scoop, ba-dum, ba-dum. And then she kept going up to that note up there, that note. Let's see if we can find a spot where she does it. A G up there too, but then she goes past it. So that's, I don't sound as good as when she does it. Just really, it's a high A. And she's just singing her lungs out. It's so fantastic. And that's almost like just wailing. Like, is she crying or is she singing, So we've got scream singing, whisper singing, cry singing. She's got it all. Those are not technical terms. So let's skip ahead and hear that moment of peace. Yeah, back up to that G. So, all right, right there in this more peaceful moment, the chord progressions are more traditional, more predictable, less uncomfortable. That's discomfort, but a good kind of discomfort, you know. You can't appreciate the good moments unless you have the uncomfortable moments. But I just keep hearing the center of the key of G. And actually, that's almost a pentatonic scale, but I might be getting ahead of myself. Anyway, let's back this up and hear that part again. It's just so cool. So we'll hear a little bit of her scream singing and then into the peaceful moment. The percussion. Nice touch. Okay, and then we have the ornamentation. So this is the recap from the beginning. Ah. A little more comfort. Love it. Oh. She's amazing. Okay. Are we able to trust this peace that we're feeling? Yeah? Yeah. Absolutely. A little tone shift there. Mm-hmm. And there, I never said I was afraid of dying. Interesting. I like all of these little interjections of the spoken words in between. You can barely hear them, but once you know they're there, you can really appreciate it. Okay, so that was this. Oh, Pink Floyd, what you do to your listeners. Whew. All right, maybe we can just go to the end, and I want to hear again when her voice starts to become more echoey, more resonant. To me, that's sort of when the whole story of the song sort of finally came together. And almost that whisper tone now, fading away, but happily. And ending on a really strong piano chord, but there was that little bend. I stopped it right when it started to bend. So what the heck is that about? I don't know yet. Why was that there? I don't know yet. But I hope to find out. Okay. That was the great gig in the sky. I have heard this one mentioned a lot in comments, and now I see why. It's its own little masterpiece within this larger work that is becoming its own masterpiece. This whole experience is just out of this world. Or maybe on the other side of the world, you know, the dark side of the moon. So thank you everybody who requested this one, everyone who has supported this little experiment here with listening to the whole album. Some of the tracks that I'll be listening to here for this whole album will be released to the public on YouTube, but the rest are going to be in a collection for exclusive content over on Patreon and for channel members. So if you are interested in seeing a couple of the tracks that are not here on the channel for everybody, that's where you can find those. There are just so many. When I do a project like this, I just can't put them all out there. There are just lots of requests and lots of other music that I need to get to, so I can't release all of them to everybody on YouTube. But feel free to check out the in-between tracks as I get to them in those other places. But this one this one is special. I've thought all of them were special so far. This one really is special. I can tell it's going to be one of my favorites, I think, on this album so far. And that says a lot if you can name a favorite when you haven't even heard the whole album yet. But I could be wrong. I mean, I could be wrong. I just cannot express to all of you how much I am enjoying this experience with this album so far. And we're just like halfway through now, maybe if that, and I'm just, it's very exciting. So thank you for coming along with me on this journey. Thank you for supporting the channel. Don't forget to do all the things, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, just remember that you don't have to be perfect. Just be okay. Go with the flow and keep listening.